from here. And after that, we'll click on use built-in settings with. Over here, display units will use metric SI, and steel section database will use Indian. And if you click here, you can see other options, and you have to select the option that is followed in your country. For example, if you're in China, that is Chinese, and if you're in Britain, that is British, for Australia and other countries. Okay, and steel design code, I'll select IS 800 2007. You can select any other code that is followed in your country. Similarly, concrete design code, I'll select IS 456 2000. You can select the code that is followed in your country. After that, click on OK. And over here, once we see this window, we have always defined grids here, but I'll show you another option that you can use to define the grids. So right now we'll just click on OK. So here you see default grids as defined by the ETABS. Now we will modify these grids according to our requirement. So first we'll just close this window. So over here, to define the grids, what you can do, you can just right click and click on add modify grids, or what you can do, go to edit and click on edit stories and grid systems. So here you can change the story data, and here you can change the grid system, that is X and Y grids. Okay, so we'll first change this option, and we click on modify show grid system. And if you want to change the name, so system origin XY, so origin is at 0 meters. Okay, so regular grids will use the option display grid data as spacing, right? Okay, so now what we do is we'll use the AutoCAD drawing to determine these spacings. Okay, so click here, and you can see in the X direction the numbering is A, B, C, and in the Y direction it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So from A to B it's 11 feet and 7 inches. So we'll enter this value over there. So 11 feet and 7 inches. So either you can change the units to US customary to enter your value in feet and inches, or if you want to work in meters, then you can simply enter the data in feet as well. All you have to do is just hit 11 and give an apostrophe, that is for feet, 11 feet and 7 inches. So you don't have to give inches sign, and hit enter. So 11 feet and 7 inches will be converted into 3.53 meters. Okay, similarly, next grid spacing we got as 11 feet and 11 inches. So this grid spacing is from center of this column to the center of this column. So we'll enter this value also in ETABS. So it's 11 feet sign and 11 inches, and hit enter. So we don't need this grid, and you can rename it to C or just keep it as it is. Okay, similarly in the Y grid, what we have, considering this point as the origin, the first grid is at a spacing of 12 feet and 5 inches. So we'll put 12 feet and 5 inches and hit enter. Similarly, the next grid is at 10 feet, and another grid is at 14 feet and 7 inches. So it's 10 and it's feet, and hit enter. Similarly, next grid was at 14 feet and 7 inches. So we'll do 14 feet and 7 inches and hit enter. So after entering these data, just click on OK. So we have defined the grid lines in the X and Y direction. Now we'll define the grid in the Z direction. So we just click on modify show story data. We will see this dialog box. Okay, so here is the base. I'll show you the architectural drawing. Okay, so let us go to this section of this building. This is the footing. This is the ground floor level. So many designers, what they do is that they just fix their columns at this position, that is on the ground, and some designers prefer to take their columns all the way to the footing. Take their column means that while modeling, okay, in real life you have to take your column to the footing, okay, so you cannot just have columns from the ground. But while modeling, some designers, what they do, they just fix their columns on the ground, and some other designers prefer to take their columns all the way to the footing. In this course, we'll fix our columns on the top of this tie beam, okay, so we won't model this tie beam, so we'll just model the columns from here, okay. So so this is our baseline, right? This is our baseline. So this is our ground floor, this is our first floor, this is our second floor, and this is our roof. So the distance from base to the ground floor is 4 feet and 1 inches. So what we do, the story 1, we name it as ground floor, GF, and height is 4 feet and 1 inches, and hit enter, okay. Similarly, story 2 is at, so let's see, so we need from here up to here, right? So what we do, we just measure the dimension, and if you are on this ribbon, what you can do, you can just click on this option to measure the dimension. Click here, and after that okay, so we'll get the dimension from top of this floor up to top of this floor, so it's 9 feet and 4 inches. Similarly, for the other floors, if we check, okay, so from top of this floor to top of this floor, it's also 9 feet and 4 inches. Similarly, for this floor, 9 feet and 4 inches, and that's the parapet wall, okay. So rest of the floors are of 9 feet and 4 inches. We'll enter 9 feet 4 inches and hit enter. Again, story 3 is 9 feet and 4 inches, and finally story is also 9 feet and 4 inches. So this is first floor, this is second floor, and this is roof, not the third floor, okay. All right, okay, so here it says story, okay, so let me explain you these columns. So here it says story, that is the name of the story, and this is the height of that specific story, and this is the elevation that is taken from the base, okay. So the ground floor is at 1.2446 meters, the first floor is at 4.0894 meters from the base. All right, so from the base, the point where we fixed our columns. And another column says master story. I'll explain this thing to you. So suppose that this is your ground, and this is your high-rise building, okay. So suppose that this is your 5th floor and this is your 10th floor, and let us assume that floor from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, they all are similar to floor 5. Whatever is the configuration of floor 5, the same configuration is seen in other floors up to 10th floor. In that situation, what you can do, you can just model the 5th floor as the master story, once you draw your structures of the 5th floor, all those structures will be automatically drawn up to the 10th floor, okay. So if you give ETABS certain commands, right, so you have to give certain commands, you have to select certain options. For example, if you draw a beam here here in the 5th floor, the beams will be drawn in the other floors, so that you don't have to draw the beams in each of the floors. Same goes for other structural members and also the loading, okay. So this is the concept of the master story. In this tutorial we are not using any master story, okay, so we'll just select no over here. And similar to means that, so if you select for example, this is the ground floor, right, so if you select ground floor as the master story, and say that first floor is similar to the ground floor, in that situation whatever you draw in the ground floor will be automatically copied to the first floor, okay. So let us change it to no, and so this is everything that you need over here for now. So we'll click OK. After that we again will click OK. Alright, so here you can see we don't have any grid lines, so we'll select this window and click on plan, and we'll go to the ground floor and we click on OK. Now you can see you got your grid lines. This is the 3D view.